We finally got more information about that super shady subpoena, and Ron is back to discuss.
Breaking news has stunned Hollywood and its fans alike. A shocking story is making waves, and this one might just blow your mind. What if I told you that Blake Lively, one of the most adored actresses of our time, has been caught in a scandal involving a fake lawsuit designed to expose none other than the talented and charming Justin Baldoni? Yes, you heard that right. A fake lawsuit. And now, it's all been revealed in the most dramatic of ways. What's behind this bizarre turn of events? Stay tuned as we unravel the mystery. Hollywood is no stranger.
Yes, that's correct. So the reporter Josh Boswell saw me on your show, and he reached out to me. And on Wednesday around noon, 1 p.m. LA time, we were talking, and he
To gossip, drama, and controversies, but rarely do we get a tale this elaborate. Blake Lively, a star known for her role in Gossip Girl and a career filled with high profile roles, has always kept a relatively clean and polished image. Justin Baldoni, on the other hand, is known for his roles in Jane the Virgin and his work as a director and advocate for social justice causes. Together, they've been linked by Hollywood's web of rumors, speculation, and now a jaw dropping allegation. For years, these two stars seemed worlds apart, each in their respective lanes. But now their names are being thrust together in a scandal of the highest order. Reports surfaced recently that Blake Lively had filed a lawsuit against Justin Baldoni. But wait, the plot thickens. This wasn't your average legal battle. Instead, this lawsuit seems staged, fabricated, and designed to catch the attention of the public. Why? What was the true intention behind this legal spectacle? Was it all just a publicity stunt? Or was there something more sinister going on in the background? Well, the truth may not be as simple as it seems. As rumors began
he had told me, "Listen, what I'm about to tell you, you cannot reveal until we publish." So, but yeah, everything he was talking to me about these details that he had learned back on Wednesday midday LA time.
And to Ron's great, I didn't hear, no, none of us heard, but props to Crystal Ball who had it out there last night. Somehow, great minds, people were on it. I guess everybody was looking for this lawsuit. And I guess if you look in that specific time period and do your due diligence,
whirling about the lawsuit, experts and fans alike started to speculate whether the entire event was just a clever PR move to manipulate the media. Let's dive deeper into this conspiracy theory. Hollywood is filled with stars, vying for the next big story, and sometimes the lines between reality and fiction blur. Could this have been a carefully orchestrated plot by a team of PR experts? Imagine the scenario. Blake Lively, already an established actress, joins forces with Justin Baldoni, who is making waves in his own right. Together, they could become the talk of the town, making headlines for weeks, if not months. The more you think about it, the more this theory starts to make sense. These two stars would be perfect candidates to stage a scandalous lawsuit that could send shockwaves through the industry. Now, what better way to bring all eyes on them than to stage a lawsuit? A lawsuit is dramatic. It pulls in audiences and it raises curiosity. People start questioning, speculating, and that's exactly what happened. The story started with whispers, but soon it turned into an all-out media frenzy. Every tabloid, news outlet, and social media platform couldn't get enough of the drama. The world was captivated, watching every new development.
clearly multiple people now have found it. So now that we've gotten this mystery lawsuit, seems to have been figured out. This subpoena came from, for those of you who are unclear what we're talking about, Ron was on last time we talked about this, trying to get the cell phone records from Jennifer Abel. They said they got a subpoena, which also allowed the New York Times to do this as well. Well, we finally now have learned what this so-called case was that everyone's wondering, well, where did this come from? It was from a case from Van Zandt Inc.
Unfold. Every statement from their legal teams and every cryptic social media post from both stars. But why target Justin Baldoni? Well, this is where things get even more interesting. Baldoni is not just an actor, he is a respected figure with a growing influence both in Hollywood and within social justice movements. His advocacy for mental health, gender equality, and more have earned him respect and admiration. Perhaps Blake Lively and her team saw an opportunity to expose him in a way that could highlight his true character and force him to face certain uncomfortable truths. Some experts believe that there's a deeper reason for this. Maybe it's not about exposing him as a villain, but rather about revealing the darker side of Hollywood. The manipulation of public images, the manipulation of press, and the lengths to which stars and their teams will go to remain relevant. Perhaps the real exposure here was about unveiling the media circus itself. After all, in a town where image is everything, what better way to make a statement than to put the industry's double standards under the microscope? The deeper you get into this rabbit hole, the more
Versus John Doe's 1 through 10. And more people did their due diligence to figure out, well, who's this Van Zan? As we sort of learned out, that was a company of Blake Lively's.
it seems like this whole situation was a calculated move. It wasn't about personal grievances or a real legal dispute. It was a strategic plot. The idea was to make the public question everything they thought they knew about the stars involved. The media machine would work overtime, dissecting every part of the lawsuit, speculating on the true reasons behind it, and keeping both stars in the headlines. As the lawsuit began to unfold, reactions poured in. Fans of both stars were confused, with some accusing the duo of using their fame for attention. Others were skeptical, questioning whether this was all a marketing gimmick. What was truly shocking was the revelation that the lawsuit wasn't real. It was all a setup, a performance, a ruse to capture the attention of an ever watchful audience. The twist of a fake lawsuit turned what should have been a scandal into a stage spectacle, drawing eyes from every corner of the globe. The public was hooked, and the media couldn't look away. Once the truth came to light, the public outcry was swift. Blake Lively's image was tarnished, as was Justin Baldoni's reputation. But here's the kicker. While many saw the revelation as a scandalous betrayal, some saw it as a brilliant move, a way to expose the hypocrisy of Hollywood's press machine. This could have been a calculated risk, showing the public just how far some celebrities are willing to go to manipulate their image and their narrative. Could they have known that the backlash would happen? And if so, did they think it would be worth it? The answer is unclear, but the fallout was real. Despite the backlash, this story is far from over. In fact, it's only the beginning of a much larger conversation about celebrity culture. Was this lawsuit just a game in Hollywood's larger narrative of fame and fortune? Was it a calculated move to gain leverage in the ever-changing world of public perception? Was it all just a strategic plot for
As more and more went through the state of California and other sort of filings, it was owned by Blake Reynolds, her married name, as the chief CEO, secretary, financial officer, etc. So it has now been confirmed that yes, this Van Zan versus the John Doe's is clearly
an upcoming project? Only time will tell. What's clear, however, is that Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni have found themselves in the center of a scandal that has not only caught the attention of their fans, but has also drawn the scrutiny of Hollywood insiders. Take a step back and consider the bigger picture. We live in a world where public relations strategies often involve complex, calculated decisions that are designed to manipulate the narrative. Celebrities have entire teams who specialize in crafting the stories they want us to believe. Sometimes it's for a movie release, sometimes for personal gain, and sometimes to bury a scandal that's about to break. The public is often left in the dark, trying to decipher what's real and what's just another publicity stunt. Could Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni be the latest players in this game of manipulation? Did they stage this lawsuit to distract from something else? Or was there a deeper message behind the whole ordeal? Whatever the case, it's clear that the lines between real and fake are becoming more difficult to distinguish. What once seemed like a clear-cut scandal is now a multi-layered, intricate story filled with twists and turns.
a Blake Lively lawsuit, but clearly was filed without anybody's actual name to skirt the issue and try to get this more secretive. Now, this case is now, I think, already been dismissed, right, Ron? So this has already been filed and done with the date of September 27th in New York. Can you explain now why this is a problem for Blake Lively's team in your mind?
As we come to the end of this jaw-dropping saga, one thing is clear. Nothing in Hollywood is ever as it seems. What we thought was a simple lawsuit turned out to be a web of deception, intrigue, and a carefully crafted PR stunt. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, whether knowingly or unknowingly, have exposed just how much control celebrities and their teams have over the stories we hear. The real question now is, how much of what we see in the media is actually real, and how much of it is carefully constructed for maximum impact? Hollywood will continue to surprise us, and with it, the lines between reality and fiction will keep getting more blurred. But one thing's for sure, this scandal will go down in history as one of the most unexpected, jaw-dropping, and entertaining stories in recent years. And as for Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, well, they've just made their mark in ways no one could have predicted. Their names are now synonymous with this wild, unpredictable chapter in Hollywood history. As the story continued to unfold, the world of Hollywood watchers and fans began to split into two distinct camps. One group believed that Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni had fallen victim to a wild conspiracy, with their personal lives becoming a casualty of a greater media war. The other camp, however, argued that they were the masterminds behind it all, that this was just another example of the carefully staged performances that celebrities are known for. Regardless of which side you were on, the one thing that became abundantly clear was that this event had far-reaching consequences, not only for Lively and Baldoni, but for the entertainment industry as a whole. What was particularly troubling for many fans was how easily they had been sucked into the drama. The nature of this entire scandal, from the supposed filing of a lawsuit to the eventual exposure of its falsity, exposed just how malleable the public's perception could be. In the age of social media and viral news, any story, no matter how outrageous, could take on a life of its own. For Blake Lively, who had long been one of Hollywood's most beloved actresses, the revelation of a staged scandal seemed like an affront to everything she had worked for. Her image had always been that of a relatable, down-to-earth woman, a far cry from the calculated drama that now surrounded her.
Well, it's an ethical problem. Well, there's a lot of problems. So the optics of this are terrible. This lends to the credence that this was obviously created not with any good faith basis of a dispute between Van Zandt and Doe's. Any lawyer will tell you you do not file a complaint if you don't know the name of the person that you are suing, unless you're trying to protect that person's identity for some reason, which if you're pissed off enough to sue them, you probably don't care about their identity. So that's red flag number one. Red flag number two, the context of the complaint are almost nil. It's like there's no really actual facts.
Justin Baldoni, on the other hand, was struggling to maintain his role as a respected figure. Known for his work advocating for mental health and gender equality, Baldoni had built a reputation that was grounded in authenticity and a desire to challenge societal norms. The fake lawsuit, however, seemed to contradict everything he stood for. In the eyes of many, this stunt represented the very thing he had been fighting against: the artificial, constructed nature of fame that often disguises the true identity of stars. And now, he was caught in the middle of it, his credibility on the line. As more details of the lawsuit began to surface, it was revealed that the entire event was orchestrated by a group of top-tier public relations professionals. The aim, they claimed, was to draw attention to the pressures and manipulations within Hollywood, using the fake lawsuit as a form of social commentary.
And which you have to put something. It doesn't have to be Baldoni level, 600 paragraphs level of detail, but even in 4 paragraphs, you can have some type of understanding like, oh, okay, this happened between these two people, and there's a dispute about this specific thing, and no one has to guess as to what it is.
PR team behind the scandal explained that their ultimate goal was to expose how far stars, agents, and producers would go to maintain a certain image. Was this whole spectacle a commentary on the darker side of celebrity culture? If it was, it certainly worked. The world was watching, dissecting every move made by Lively, Baldoni, and their PR team. The lawsuit, though fake, had raised important questions. Was the public too easily manipulated by the media? Were we so accustomed to consuming celebrity gossip and drama that we were willing to believe almost anything that came across our feeds? If these questions weren't enough, the whole scandal began to shine a light on the very nature of celebrity culture itself. A culture built on image, perception, and the need for constant attention. The more the public's fascination with the story grew, the more it seemed to reinforce the PR team's point. Hollywood was a machine that thrived on spectacle, even when the spectacle was entirely fabricated. The backlash against the two stars was intense, but surprisingly, the response from their professional networks was less harsh than expected. Agents, managers, and even other celebrities came to their defense, claiming that the stunt was a bold and brave attempt to push the boundaries of what people could expect from the entertainment industry. In the end, what Lively and Baldoni had done was create a conversation that touched on everything from the ethics of fame to the blurred lines between truth and fiction in the world of Hollywood. Despite the drama, both stars appeared to handle the
And also, that there are no does, and this was done this quickly. I don't know how fast things work in New York, but once you put something in the system, in the court system, things are done automatically on their end. For instance, it gets assigned to a judge. That judge gets it. His clerk sets hearings as to manage the case. Where's proof of service?
Aftermath with a sense of grace, accepting the public's anger while calmly explaining their reasons for the stunt. We wanted to show people how easily the truth can be distorted, said Lively in a statement to the press. In this industry, so much of what you see is not real, and we felt it was time to reveal that. Justin Baldoni, too, expressed his frustrations with the way the media operates, acknowledging that his own involvement in the hoax had been a conscious decision to disrupt the status quo. At the same time, there was a growing movement of fans who felt betrayed. They had invested so much emotional energy in following the lives of these stars, only to realize that they had been part of a grand experiment. To them, the fake lawsuit felt like a breach of trust. "We were all duped," one fan wrote on social media, "and it makes you question everything you read in the tabloids." But perhaps the biggest twist in this saga was yet to come. As the dust began to settle and the outrage began to die down, it was revealed that the fake lawsuit was only one part of a larger, more elaborate project. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni had reportedly been working on a documentary that would explore the manipulative nature of fame, the pressures placed on stars, and the lengths to which public figures will go to maintain an image. The lawsuit, it turned out, was merely a part of the film, a method of capturing the world's attention and setting the stage for the documentary's release. This revelation sent shockwaves through Hollywood. The public was stunned by the sheer audacity of the project. Was this all just an elaborate marketing scheme for a film that would expose the ugly truths of the entertainment industry? If so, was it really a documentary, or just another cleverly disguised PR stunt designed to grab attention? The layers of manipulation were endless, leaving people questioning what was real and what was merely for show. With the release of the documentary, Lively and Baldoni took audiences on a journey through Hollywood's inner workings, shedding light on everything from the media's obsession with scandal to the toxic culture of celebrity gossip. In interviews with other celebrities, they revealed how the media often fabricates stories, how public relations teams shape the narrative, and how the lines between truth and fiction often blur. It was a revelatory look at the industry, one that both surprised and shocked viewers. But as the documentary garnered attention, it sparked debates on whether Lively and Baldoni's initial stunt had been too much. Had they crossed a line? Some critics felt that they had used their celebrity status to manipulate their audience into thinking they were exposing something deeply wrong with Hollywood, all the while perpetuating the very system they were trying to critique. Others, however, praised the film for being bold and timely, sparking an important conversation about the way fame is constructed and maintained. Ultimately, the entire saga left a lasting impression on Hollywood and the public. It raised more questions than it answered and exposed the precarious balance between reality and performance in the entertainment industry. It also made us rethink the way we view celebrities, as real people or as characters in an ongoing performance. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, whether intentional or not, had forever changed the conversation surrounding celebrity culture, media manipulation, and the price of fame. They had opened a Pandora's box, forcing us all to confront the complex relationship between image, truth, and the spectacle of stardom. And as for the fake lawsuit, well, it was just the beginning of a much larger story that, like most Hollywood, tales will continue to captivate and mystify us for years to come. Thanks for tuning in to this shocking revelation. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on all things Hollywood. And remember, in a world where appearances can be deceiving, sometimes it's hard to know who's telling the truth and who's playing the game. See you next time.
I believe the dismissal of the complaint was in December, just before the New York Times publication. That's my understanding of what it is. Now, it's probably in the article itself, and I spoke to Mr. Boswell, Wednesday, and I could be wrong on the dates, but my memory is that it was dismissed voluntarily by Van Zandt Inc. just before the New York Times article came out. Oh, you're looking for it. Here we go.
Yeah, I was trying to find it. It doesn't have the specific day it was dismissed, but our reporters are confirming that too. Yes, this case was dismissed. Unclear when, but from what I gathered as well, right before The CRD was filed in New York from Blake.
So that, and it, that lends credence to this complaint. This Van Zandt complaint was created purely to with an ulterior motive, which has its ethical implications if that's true, with regards to the New York State Bar.